That woman is illegal. Arrest her right now. That's what the HOA president shrieked into 911 while pointing at my wife, who was watering petunias. Two cruisers, rolled up neighbors, peeked through blinds, and my wife, calm as a surgeon, handed over an ID that turned the whole street to stone. The officer read it, looked at the woman who'd called, and you could see the blood drain from that lady's face like someone pulled a plug. Yeah, that happened. Let me back up a sec. I'm Ben Carter, 36, HVAC guy. Grew up on busted knuckles, and July heat been in this little Phoenix neighborhood 9 years. My granddad, World War II vet, built our cedar trim place by hand in '62, the kind of house that creaks in winter and smells like sun-warmed lumber in summer. Our block is pastel stucco and perfect hedges, 80% sameness, the kind of place where every mailbox has the same smile. It never blinked at me. It blinked when my wife, Luna Delgado, moved in. She pulled up in a U-Haul from her base in Texas, boxes labeled Delgado. Stacked high arms, strong hair up tank top, because it was the kind of heat that makes asphalt shimmer. She's got this four-arm piece, Air Force wings folded into an Aztec eagle with threads of the Mexican flag, earned ink, not fashion. Valerie Blackwell, our HOA president and self-appointed neighborhood soul inspector, marched over with a clipboard and muffins like a Trojan horse. What an interesting addition to our community, she said, interesting like she'd smelled a gas leak. Her eyes hooked on Luna's tattoo and never let go. Very urban aesthetic. Urban aesthetic code so loud it could set off car alarms. Luna clocked it, tugged her sleeve down, voice even. Government contractor, she told Valerie when asked about work, which was true enough for a stranger with a clipboard. IT, security. Valerie's smile got tighter. Questions got friendlier on the surface, but wrong underneath, like a handshake with a knife in it. Where did Luna grow up? Any family nearby? How did she find her way here? She took notes, actual notes, like she was building a file. I brushed it off because I wanted to live in a world where muffins meant welcome. She's just being neighborly, I said, and Luna gave me that look. You know what I mean? The one that says you're sweet, but you're not seeing what I'm seeing. First week. Valerie parked in her car for 20 minutes facing our place. Then 40. Binoculars showed up. Luna, who has training. I don't start at a log timestamps photos the pattern. She's documenting my schedule. Luna said, not scared, just clear. The first letter landed 3 days later. Resident verification protocol. Fancy language about maintaining demographic balance and insurance requirements. They wanted Luna's background check, employment verification, character references, and I kid you not, evidence of cultural compatibility factors. I could actually hear the italics while I read it. When I called the HOA, Valerie's voice was sugar poured over glass. Standards, Ben. We all have to protect our investment. The thing about coded racism is it hides inside words that sound responsible, prudent adult, neighborhood character, shared values, property stability. She held backyard coffees where she never said anything explicit. She didn't have to. She nudged, she seasoned, she let the stew simmer. And people, good people who didn't want to think of themselves as bigots, nodded along. The mailman stopped making eye contact. Conversations paused when Luna walked by. Silence became an accomplice. Then came the twist I didn't see coming. Noah Blackwell, Valerie's 24-year-old son, psychology major with a conscience that wouldn't sit still, knocked on our door. He didn't bother with hello. I'm sorry, he said. My mom is using corporate diversity language to exclude people. She says it's about standards, but every phrase is a gate. He'd been arguing with her on the porch for weeks, losing. I'm documenting it for my thesis, he added, shame burning through his words. But I wanted you to know, someone in that house sees what's happening. 2 Fridays later, lights and sirens. Valerie had spent the week compiling evidence, Luna working late on secure video calls, speaking Spanish with her family, receiving mail with her name on it, and turned it into a 911 script so polished it could pass a government audit. She never said Mexican. She said non-traditional documentation, incompatible lifestyle associations concerning cultural markers. Officers Reyes and Pike had to respond because that's the trap. If you dress a lie in the clothes of concern, the system must knock on the door. Luna stepped out like she was back on base, steady shoulders, quiet eyes. "Good evening, officers. How can I assist you?" she asked. "And if you've ever seen Grace under pressure, you know what I mean." Valerie, vibrating with triumph, whispered, "You'll see the documentation won't match." Luna handed over her ID. Reyes read it out loud like a verdict. Staff Sergeant Luna Delgado Carter, United States Air Force. The air went thin. Luna rolled her sleeve up to show the whole tattoo. "Air Force wings with my heritage woven in," she said, not raising her voice, just setting the record straight. "I earned this defending the country you say you love." Dylan across the street muttered what everyone else finally understood. "When you said community character, you meant white." Mr. Walt Henderson, Korean War vet who'd been nodding along with Valerie for months, looked like someone yanked the floor out from under him. He saluted Luna, voice breaking. "Ma'am, my respect." Reyes warned Valerie about discriminatory complaints and false reports, and for a minute I thought that was the end of it. Lesson learned masks pulled off daylight doing its work. It wasn't. Monday morning, the citation started like sleet non-native plants. We had none. 6 a.m., PT noise, 20 minutes backyard parking a value-incompatible truck in our own driveway. $200 a pop paper cuts meant to make you bleed out. My business took hits to support local contractors who align with our community values, the kind of poison that leaves no fingerprints. Luna, meanwhile, peeled back the shell. She found PI invoices billed to the HOA as security consulting $8,000 and change. She found that the PI had walked when Valerie suggested looking into classified records, and when private doors wouldn't open, Valerie went federal. We learned this part from Noah, voice shaking over the phone. His mother had filed a 15-page complaint with the Air Force Office of Special Investigations alleging unauthorized classified work from our home. She attached photos. Timelines analysis turned Luna's authorized telework into a spy novel. OSI doesn't shrug. They knocked with professionalism, with purpose. Luna sat through interviews, laid out equipment, explained contacts, let strangers examine the bones of her life, all while a promotion hung by a thread someone else was trying to cut. She came home one night, sat on the couch like someone took the weight out of the world and put it on her chest, and said, "It's standard. It still hurts." Here's where the tide turned. While OSI worked the facts, Luna built a case that would make a prosecutor tear up from relief: financial records, board emails, screenshots of coded statements, timestamps of surveillance, a ledger of every standard used like a club. She asked the HOA for time on the agenda. She showed up in dress blues. I wish you could have seen the room. Dylan looked seasick as line items marched across the screen, each dollar tied to research that was really stalking. 4 board members voted to remove Valerie on the spot. The 5th was Valerie. Noah, hands trembling but steady with purpose, played recordings his mother saying the quiet parts out loud when she thought no one would ever hear them again. Drive the Mexican out by whatever legal means necessary. She'd said it. Her son made sure it wouldn't disappear. 3 days later, OSI cleared Luna, completely formal apology, commendation for cooperation. Her CO recommending accelerated promotion for professionalism under civilian harassment. The investigation meant to erase her, instead engraved her character in stone. Valerie, cornered on embezzlement and civil rights complaints, lawyered up. I thought she'd finally stop. Then Noah called at 9 p.m., breathless. "Ben, she bought a gun. She's talking about taking the neighborhood back permanently. Cops can't arrest a sentence. They can act on actions. We locked the doors, activated every training Luna's ever had, watched the street with every light on." Valerie's car rolled out. Noah slid into our driveway like a handbrake turn and sprinted to the porch. "She's coming," he said. "She's armed." Valerie walked up, slow eyes, hollow, once perfect hair, now a storm. "Pack, tonight leave never come back," she said, voice flat. A person who'd welded her identity to a neighborhood sign and watched it fall. Luna stepped out empty-handed, palms visible, calm in the places I wouldn't be. "Ma'am, put the weapon down. We can talk." "No more talking," Valerie screamed, and the mask fully died. "You ruined my life." Noah moved between them, voice cracking, begging his mother to see what she'd become. For a second, she pointed the gun at her own son, and I swear the world stopped breathing. Sirens cut through red and blue washing stucco. Detective Grace Nolan took over the air, gentle but firm, drawing Valerie's pain out like a splinter control. Lost grief curdled fear, wearing a flag like armor. Valerie caught her reflection in our window, gun mascara rage, and something snapped back. The weapon clattered to concrete, and she folded sobbing into her son's arms. Luna declined to press the big charge. "She needs help, not prison," she told Nolan, voice still steady. "Mercy isn't soft, by the way. It's the hardest grown-up choice I've ever seen made in real time. Probation, restitution, mandatory counseling. That was the legal end. The civic one was better. Dylan became HOA president and asked Luna to serve as vice president. We rewrote the bylaw's explicit anti-discrimination language, due process safeguards training for every board member. Mr. Henderson started a veterans coffee that draws folks from 5 streets over. Mrs. Thompson used to be Henderson's neighbor, organized cultural nights with potlucks that look like airports. When a young Muslim family moved into Valerie's old place, the old guard tried a tired comment about another demographic shift, and 3 people shut it down before Luna even had to inhale. Noah graduated with a thesis on suburban racism and mental health that made its way into fair housing trainings. My business bounced back and got better. I started hiring vets and military spouses because word travels in that world. And I figure if you can troubleshoot a C-130 at 3 a.m., you can handle a rooftop unit in July. Luna got her stripe in a new role liaising between base and city, turning scar tissue into bridge work. Valerie finished treatment and wrote letters, real apologies, specific, no hedging. Luna wrote back, not reconciliation, not friendship boundaries, and a wish for her to keep doing the work so no one else winds up where she did. Last 4th of July. Luna, in dress blues, led the neighborhood kids through the pledge under a sky that smelled like charcoal and fireworks. 12 languages said good job afterward. I thought about the first words Valerie threw at us, my neighborhood, and how wrong they were then and how wrong they'll always be. It isn't mine or hers. It's ours, which is harder and messier and infinitely more worth it. So tell me, if it were your street, your family, your community, where would you draw the line between accountability and mercy, between protecting your own and opening the circle wider? You know what I mean? Drop your take below. Who was right? Who was wrong? What justice looks like when a neighborhood is the court, and how a community should handle conflict when standards start to sound like walls.